This conference will now be recorded.
Great. So
This conference will now be recorded.
it's nice like you have hands-on on SAP. So you know what is SAP, how SAP looks like, you know, basic functions of SAP, like how to navigate in the SAP. So some
Yeah.
basics you are aware, and that's a good thing. So SD stands for sales and distribution. So sales and distribution, do you know the business process, or have you worked on the sales and distribution areas?
Yeah, I was in touch with some of my friends who are consultant in SAP SD. So yeah, a little bit of idea that warehouse management, sales order processing, all these pre-sales activities, then order processing, all stuff like that. Yeah, I have a little bit of idea for that process.
Okay, great. So basically, we have two applications now. So currently, yeah, the hands-on which we have got was the old application which we call as a ECC, and the new application we called is a S4 application. Okay, the old
Okay.
ECC was been there from many years, but from 2015 end of the 2015, SAP started selling the new system, and they started naming it as a S4. So we were having this old system we call as a ECC, whereas we were now currently from 2015 or from 2016, what SAP has been selling is S4. ECC is no longer sold. It's been stopped. And 2025 is the end date where every customer who is using ECC, he has to convert his system to S4HANA. He has to convert his system to the S4. That is, he has to upgrade it. And if any customer who is going to buy the system, now he has to directly buy the S4. Means he has to buy the a new system.
Okay.
The major difference between the ECC and the S4, one, just to have on a glimpse side, it's like ECC was running on any database. Okay, any database. What is database? Database is a where we store our data. So whatever transaction you were creating, like creating sales order, creating purchase orders, you were creating the invoices, deliveries, or any other transaction which you perform in your SAP, those all transactions, you were getting the numbers, you were getting the material documents, sales document numbers. So those documents get stored in your database. Okay,
Yeah.
if you are using ECC, you can use any database, but what SAP did, they have created their own database now. In 2011 or 12, they started the HANA database. So HANA database belongs to SAP, and if you are using S4, you should have the HANA database. There is no other alternative. S4 only works on HANA database. So S4
Okay.
is completely a new application. It's not the upgraded version of ECC. It's completely new from SAP end. Obviously, the basic functions of ECC will be there in S4. On top of that, they have done many changes. There are many areas which they have enhanced and which they have redesigned as per their current requirement. The problem with ECC was it was very, very slow. Initially, it was good, but see, over the period of time, companies' data will start accumulating. Okay, each year your transaction data will start increasing, your database size will also increase. The data footprint, which we call as a data footprint, means the size of the data which you are creating on yearly basis, it start increasing. So when you are trying to run the reports on ECC, those are getting slow. Okay, and ECC was designed in the past, and it's not like capable to handle the future requirements. So the current requirements it can fulfill, but in future, it's not the future technology. So the slowness of the ECC was killing. That is the reason what SAP did. They developed first database. They first developed a database by using new technologies, and after that they started modifying ECC such that they modified many applications, many modules they have modified, and that they renamed it as a S4. They renamed it as S4. So whatever we are
Okay.
going to learn in S4 SD, we are going to learn from scratch, but that we are going to learn on the latest system. The latest system which we have available is the 1709. So first release they did in 2015, so they called it 1511. That was the full release. which we can say. Before 1511 they released some 1503, but it was only related to finance. The full release, which includes logistics and finance, was 1511, that is 2015, in the month of November. After that they released 1610, and the third release which they have is the 1709. So 1709 is the latest system which we have available in the market, and we will be training on that system, which is the latest. Yeah. So whatever we are going to teach you here will be on the new system, that is on the new application. So here we are going to teach you what are the new things in S4. Basically, we'll start from the scratch, assuming that you don't know SAP. So that we will go with the basics, and then we will go to the medium, and then we'll go with the expert level. So starting with the scratch, the way we train is we focus more on the practicals. So here we cover one end-to-end implementation. One end-to-end implementation, like suppose you are working in the manufacturing company and they are wanted to buy a SAP. So from when a SAP sells a license to them, so what are the things a consultant does? Okay, what are the different phases of the implementation? We call it as an implementation. Implementation means installing a new SAP to the customer location. The customer is new to SAP, he is a first time buyer, then we call it as an implementation. And the second job profile which you get is a support. Support means already SAP is running in a system and they have some requirements, they have some modification in the existing system, they need some day-to-day issues to be resolved by some consultant. So that is known as a support. And the third one which we are going to see in the future is the migrations, because currently 99+ percentile of the SAP customer are using ECC. Okay, and by 2015 to 2025, what they have to do is they have to migrate it. They have to migrate from ECC to S4HANA. Okay, that's because by 2025 SAP will stop supporting ECC. They will stop supporting ECC. So all customers have to migrate from ECC to S4HANA by 2025. Now, what is the migration? Migration is your system ECC, they upgrade it. Okay, they install some patches, they install some softwares on this ECC such that it will become S4. And if you are doing S4, your application is getting changed from ECC to S4. So your business processes, your areas, okay, there are some, we call it as areas, like order management, like billing, delivery, all these areas will get impacted. So in future, you will have a requirement where they need a consultant who can who is aware of what is ECC, who is aware of what is S4, because he should understand what is their existing layout or what is their existing setup, and he should propose us that how it will be looking in the future. Okay, so this is your existing and this is your future. So in the market going forward, you will get more job opportunities related to S4HANA. Okay, currently also there are many job opportunities related to S4HANA, but company will prefer more people who knows ECC and S4. Okay, because old is ECC. So if I'm migrating from ECC to S4, so if a certain consultant or candidate knows S4HANA, then definitely they will prefer him as compared to any ECC consultant. So S4HANA consultants will be required in two projects, either one implementation or during the migrations. So so this is how the future is like. Okay, on top of that, we are going to learn Fury. We are going to learn Fury. Fury is a new web-based or app-based technology which SAP has invented to log into SAP. Till now, if you, I'll just show you. Till now, you know SAP GUI, so you have logged into SAP. So that logon pad, we call it as a SAP GUI. So we were using SAP GUI till now, but 2015 or around that, what SAP has done, they have created a new app. Okay, this can be run on the browsers. That app can be run on your mobile, tablets, laptop by using web browsers. Okay, that is known as a Fury. So this is your traditional GUI and this is your Fury. This is how your Fury looks like, and this is your traditional GUI login which you have already used. So we are going to learn Fury, how to use Fury, because what SAP predict is future will be more users will be going to use laptops, or they are going to use mobiles, and they are going to use tablets. So they have started developing their applications, new tools they have started developing based on the future requirement. So currently you are using this, but we have a now new option where you can log into SAP using Fury. Okay, you can log into S4HANA. You can log into SAP via Fury. So Fury is another way how you can log in to your SAP. Okay. So
This works on the
also we
mobile
are
phone.
going to learn. Yeah, you can. There is an app. You can download the app, and then through the app also you can log into your SAP.
Okay.
So Fury is a new age technology, and if you are learning S4HANA, then you should learn Fury as well.
Okay.
So we are going to learn Fury, how to log in, what are the different apps, how the Fury works, how to train end users on the Fury, because this is the inbuilt now. Earlier, there was too much of a headache to use Fury when Fury was before HANA. Fury was there before HANA, S4HANA, but what happened, to integrate this Fury with ECC was very headache, like it was taking too much of time and the performance was too slow. But now because of S4HANA, the integration is inbuilt. Inbuilt means you don't have to do much steps, and the performance is very fast. The performance of the Fury has been increased tremendously because of the integration. So Fury is app based. Fury is app based. So you can get the different types of apps. So you can do the simulations. You can see the graphs. You can directly get the values. Okay, it's a high level glimpse you can get for your, say, open sales order, open deliveries, open billing documents, what are the customers who are blocked for the credit. Everything will be get on the Fury. So this is the one area which we are going to learn in our training. During the training, more focus will be given on practicals. More focus will be given on the practical. The way how we treat is like we take theory part, okay, followed by practical. Okay, but we will not cover much theory, just like the bookish theory is not covered here. All important theory are covered, but in books, if you've gone through any books in SAP, then it's more of a in-depth theory. They will not cover more practical, but here we will take you the practical. We'll give you the live scenarios, how in a company will get the issues, how to resolve the issues, what are the different requirements come from the companies, so that it will help you to build your resume, and even it will help you to prepare your interviews. During our trainings, we will point out to you the questions which will be asked during your interviews as well. Okay,
So
so we will.
how it will be helpful in passing the certification exam?
To passing the
Certification exam is
certification.
more focused on the SAP theory, or is it on practical, or how it is oriented?
See, certification example, I'll tell you how it works. So basically, if you have gone through the certification course content, so they have SAP books. Okay, so SAP books will cover theory and they give the practical images. Okay, they will just show you the steps how to do that. So we cover practical in depth. So what happens, your concept gets clear. Once your concept gets clear, then it's very easy for you to understand the theory part. Okay, but in certification, the more theory is asked. Okay, the theory part is a little bit more during the certifications. So if you read the books after covering our practical session, and if you try to read the books, it's very easy for you because your concepts are clear. Theory reading is very tough, and if your concepts are not clear, because you will never understand the theory part, what SAP is trying to say. So unless until you do the practical and you understand what exactly happens, and then you read the theory, the book theory for the certification, then it's very easy. So whatever topics are there in the certification, we cover all the major topics. Okay, so around 95% of plus we will cover the major topic, except there will be some theory part, like what is the cloud, what is the cloud integration, etc., etc. Some theory part will be there in the books. Okay, then you can refer those, but our practical and our theory will cover majority of your portion of your certifications. So you will get the books, you can read the books, and if you have any doubts on any topics, then you can approach us, we can cover those topics as well. It's not like our topics are fixed and we don't alter it. Okay, any topics which is again linked to your certification, and if we have missed it, definitely we can cover those part as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a fixed syllabus, it's not like a fixed number of days, nothing is like hard coded stuff here. So it's more tailored unless until your requirements are fulfilled. See, our aim is to, first thing is your concept should be clear, as you may go as a trainee consultant, associate consultant, shadow consultant, or end user, supervisor, any position you go, your base should be ready. Unless until your base or fundamentals are not clear, then it's very tough to get a job and to survive in the market. But if your fundamentals are clear, then it's very, very easy to grow in the SAP market. Remember,
Yeah.
and to clear your fundamentals, there are two things you need to know. One is your domain should be good, and that is good in your case because you have worked. Second thing, you should have a good hands-on in SAP. Unless until you don't have a hands-on like practical stuff done on SAP, that is system, then you will never get the good knowledge. Theory you can read, you can remember for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's it. When you go to the actual scenarios, right, when you start working in the companies, you will see that what theory says and what SAP actually does. It's a lot of, there will be the difference. It's just like, suppose you are done the engineering, 4 years you will spend in your engineering, and then when you join an organization, you will come to know, boss, whatever I have learned in engineering, nothing has been used. But SAP is not like that. You will use some theory, but more exposure to the practical and more exposure to the system will benefit you in a long term.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you are planning to use certification, that's a good, you start studying whatever we cover, this will be part of your certification. So whatever we cover, our 100% syllabus will be there for your certification. On top of that, there will maybe some take and give some topics will be there on the theory, and more of a theory part, which will be the straightforward. We will guarantee you that there is no topics which covers practical and we will miss. Okay, so all practical topics will be covered here.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. On top of that, you will be given system access. So more and more you can practice. It's better for you to get the knowledge.
Yeah, I'm planning to commit a little more time of spending here on SAP. So of course, I want to sit down and access the system, try to do some practice as we are going along. Absolutely, that is the goal here.
Right. So during our the major why SAP has come up with the HANA database. The old database, the problem with the old one, the ECC, what was happening was SAP was having good application. ECC is not bad. Okay, ECC is very, very good application. But how they design ECC, when they build the ECC, SAP was never thought that they will enter into the database. SAP never thought they will enter into the database. The SAP was forced to enter into the database. Okay, SAP was forced by the other competitor to enter into the database area. So what was happening is, this was your any database. Okay, you take any IBM, Microsoft, okay, or Oracle, any database. What was
Okay.
happening here? The problem was when SAP has written their code, SAP writes application is they write a code actually. So that is done. So they written the code in their language. Okay, but when ECC was designed, SAP was not knowing what database a customer is going to use. What database? So when they return the code, they return in a generic way. Okay, they return in their own way. Okay, in their own own way, which is good, which is good for ECC, but they were having constraint. Okay, they were having some constraint. Why? Because they don't know what database they may patch up with. They don't know what database the customer is going to use. So some code, okay, some designs, okay, they did it in generic way, okay, in generic, okay, so that it is applicable for all the database, due to which what happens, they can't use their system to a full capacity. They can't use their system to a full capacity. They can't extract the 100% value from the system because they were depending on the database. So whatever code they were writing, they have written, what was happening is they have to pass their code to a converter. We call it in a simple, I'm trying to explain in a simple language, like they have to pass in the, we call it as a stack, okay, or we can, in a simple language, you can say it's a converter. So what was happening is, what was what was happening is, so SAP was writing code here in ECC. So ECC was, when you run any transaction, it was going here and then it was converting the code, or it was converting their design or the code into the database language. And when you save any order or delivery, it was taking the data, it was just converting it, and then it was storing in the database. Also, whenever you run any report, you run a report, the code gets converted, it fetches the data, and then it was uh, displaying in the report output. So there is a middle layer between the ECC and the database, which was causing the performance issue. There was a middle layer which was causing the performance issue. What was the middle layer? When the ECC was designed, the design was done in the keeping in mind that it should work on any database. So whatever development design they will do on ECC, they have to keep in mind that it should work on any database. Okay, so there were restriction when they were designing the ECC, and due to which the performance of the system gets slow whenever your data start increasing. It was becoming very slow. To avoid this, what they have done now, okay, they built up this HANA database. They built up the HANA database. So HANA database is created by SAP. Okay, it belongs to the SAP. So now whatever design they will do, they can directly access the database. They can directly enter the data in the database, and they can directly fetch it. So the communication between your application and the database is now direct, okay, due to which the flow, or we call it as a throughput. Okay, throughput means, suppose in ECC, within 5 minutes you are posting 1,000 documents, within 5 minutes you are posting, but in S4HANA, within the same minutes you are able to post more than 1 lakh of documents. Why? Because of this high performance. So we call it as a throughput. The throughput has increased so much because of this direct connection, and they don't have to depend on any other people, what type of their database they are going to use. They don't have to worry now. So all the application, okay, the entire application, different modules, they have rewritten the language, or they have rewritten the coding. Okay, they rewritten the entire code here. That is the reason they don't say it as an upgraded version. They say S4 as a totally new application. They will never say it's an upgraded version of ECC. They are calling S4 as a new application because they have to rewrite everything in S4 such that they can enhance the system in such a way they can directly connect to the database, they can directly fetch it, they have increased the performance, and they can do a full utilization of the system at a higher rate. Okay, so due to which the connection between the system and the database, retrieving the data, putting the data in the database is so fast, the reports are running so fast, and because of the enhanced capabilities, your Fury and other integration like cloud applications, it's very faster as compared to the ACC. So to there was a huge redundant data in ECC. The data was redundant. Okay, there were many tables which were storing same type of data. Here you will not see. They have simplified the data. They have removed unwanted tables in S4HANA. So many unwanted tables has been removed. Many simplification has been done in the S4 as compared to the ECC. That is the reason they are focusing, like they have strict date they have given that from 2015 and they stopped selling ECC. They only sell S4. When you are buying S4, you have to buy HANA. There is no other options. So it's like they have made customer, if you want to buy this, you have to buy both. Otherwise, you can't buy anything from us. That is a risky that customer may not want because it's expensive. But SAP thought that it's good for their future, and 2025 is the end date by which they have to migrate. All the ECC has to migrate to the S4. So in future, down the line, 2 to 3 years, you will get more and more S4 requirements, more HANA requirements, and all the people will start using the new system. So quick glimpse, like ECC was, there was a lot of redundant data, the data footprint was high, and the transaction processing, the report processing was very slow in the ECC. That were challenges which were faced in the traditional database. Traditional database means your regular, it may be IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, any database which you were connecting to the ECC. So there were some of the problems with the database, due to which they have designed HANA. HANA is just a database, it's not the application. S4 is the application. Okay, so you remember HANA is a database, HANA is not the application. S4 is the application. Okay, for ECC is the application. So similar to ECC, we have S4 as an application and HANA as a database. So HANA stands for high performance analytical application. Okay, so in HANA, what they have done, many tables they have removed it. The aggregation tables has been removed from the HANA. We will tell in depth when we start. I will tell you in depth with an example what the aggregation table is, because we need to spend more amount of time to understand what is aggregation and what is the indexing table. But on a quick note, like many unwanted or redundant tables has been removed, and instead of storing the data, what they do, their system is so fast that on the fly they do the calculations. On the fly they are started doing the calculations. So that is a new technology which they have developed and which they are using in their HANA database. So this is only possible due to the HANA. So in S4, now if you see this one, okay, not only they have developed a new database, but they have developed the new application as well. Okay, so two changes has been done. One is the database level and one is the application level. Okay, these are the two changes they have done. So it's a new product, next generation business, fully built on in-memory platform. In-memory means whatever data, there is known as a cold storage and hot storage. In SAP S4HANA, we call it as a cold storage and hot storage. Hot storage is something the data, the recent data which you can, it's cold storage, the data which you are not going to use anymore, you can go and sit in the backend. So that is called as a cold storage. So they have come up with a hot storage and cold storage. It's more of a database related stuff. From application side or from an SD perspective, we don't have to worry as much. The data footprint has been reduced. Okay, and there are different ways to deploy it. Like you can deploy in your premises, you can deploy them on the premises. Okay, sorry, that is called as a on premises. On premises means you own the server, you own the application, and you will install in your premises. There is another way known as a cloud. Cloud means your servers you can take a rent or you can install on the cloud. So on the cloud you will, for example, if you have heard Amazon, so Amazon AWS, Amazon Web Services, so they do the installations. Like you can buy space from them, there you can install your SAP. So they provide all the
So Amazon is also working on SAP.
On SAP means they have their different vertical known as AWS, Amazon Web Services. So what they do, it's a cloud solution. They provide the cloud solution. Means you can go and install your recipe on the Amazon Web Services. So they are providing you the space. They are providing you the different servers to install your SAP.
Okay.
So they are not in
But
the
I
SAP,
mean,
but
they also have their own, the Amazon, they also have their own database system, or they are using also SAP at their backend?
At their backend, they may be using SAP. I don't know exactly, but believe me, they may be using SAP because many companies use SAP. You take it from any, like even Accenture. If you have heard Accenture, they use SAP at their backend. So
Okay.
Amazon at the front end we may not see, but at the backend definitely they may be using SAP as well to run their system, to run their
Okay.
business. Yeah. So this is a journey of SAP. 1972 they started with the R1, then they gave a name as R1, that is known as architecture 1. 79 R2, 92 R3, 2000 MySAP, 4 ERP, 2011 they started HANA as a database. 2015 they have started with the S4 application. 2015 they started with the S4 application.
Okay.
So Fury we discussed. We'll go in depth of the Fury as well. So also they have a new methodology which is known as Actuate methodology. So what SAP says, like if a customer is going to implement SAP, so within like shortest amount of time should be spent to implement it. Earlier what was happening that it was taking years to implement a SAP in a company. So what SAP has done is they have created RDS as ready to deploy solutions. We call it as so that whatever global business processes are there, those are readily available in the system. So you just have to perform a demo to the client. If client is okay, you have to install it. So it's like very much available for available business processes which are ready for your use. Very little effort is required from the consultant side, and once you are good, customer is good with that business process, it's very easy for you to install it. So they wanted to reduce the time which is required to implement SAP at any new customer. So they have created a new methodology which is known as SAP Actuate methodology. This is a new for S4HANA. Earlier in ECC they were using SAP methodology. We call it as a SAP Accelerated SAP methodology. So it was a old one.
Okay.
So these are just it's a glimpse to the simple logistics. Okay. So from this we will be focusing more on the SD part, like order management, billing, available to promise, material requirement planning, and some part of the inventory. We will be focusing more on that part from the SD perspective. So whatever we are going to learn SD, and whatever integration happens with the sales and distribution. For example, SD is integrated with the PP, SD is integrated with your FI, SD is integrated with the MM. So these integration points also we have to learn during our trainings. Okay, because definitely you will be asked to work on the integration as well. It's not like just SD, so you will be doing SD. So there will be some integration. So either one of the resource has to take the responsibility of the integration. So either MM guy or SD guy. So if you are SD and if you know the integration point, then you can take the responsibilities. So there will be topics. It's not like SD means it's independent. So there are some business processes which depend on the other modules as well. So some part are executed in my module, SD module, and some parts of that business process executed in the material management module. Example I will tell you. Take an example of Amazon. So you place order at Amazon. So Amazon will tell to its vendor that, okay, we have received an order, go and ship this material to this customer. So you are communicating to the Amazon. Amazon is communicating to its vendor. Then that particular vendor is selling the materials to like he's shipping out the materials to you. But whatever bills are there, that vendor will get it from the Amazon. Means Amazon will pay to that vendor because you have already paid to the Amazon. So here for Amazon, if you say Amazon as a system, what will happen in Amazon system? The first thing they will get is an order. They will get a order from the customer. Once they get the order, what they will do? They will create a purchase order. That is, they will give one document to the supplier saying that go and ship these materials to the customer. So there are two modules which are integrating when this particular business process is executed. One is SD, one is MM. So there should be a proper integration between MM and SD. So this is one of the business process where we see the integration. We also called it as a dropship process or third party process, third party sales we call it as. Third party means you get an order from customer, but you will not ship the goods. Your supplier will ship the goods directly to the customer, but the supplier will ask payment from you. Supplier will ask the payment from you, and you have to collect payment from your customers. So this is how the business, third-party business works like. Okay, so this is how we train. Uh, we do our training. So, do you have any questions?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, then we'll stop for the day. You can just check with Naveen if you want any further details. Hey, Naveen,
So, is there any material which I'm supposed to be reading as well for theory?
for theory.
Yeah, I mean, there is any material, any starting point from where I should start reading and review before I come for the next session?
We'll start from the basics. So Naveen will let you know when we are going to kickstart it. So we will start from the basics, and we will share you all the books, okay, the certification books.